What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. I am your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. You know I got another banger for you, so kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
So the star of the Olympics on the French side, Gabby Williams, former WNBA player, currently playing in the pros in France, lit Team USA up and started a lot of speculation and talk as to why she is not in the W with that skill set helping a team pursue a championship. Now we know she started her career with the Chicago Sky. Things went bad. She ended up getting suspended for a year without pay. Got traded, ended up with the Seattle Storm, and then ended up in France. We'll get a little deeper into that. But she has an opportunity to join a team for a postseason run, and everybody other than the Dallas Wings reportedly have enough cap room. I feel like she would be the perfect, ideal fit for a squad like the Indiana Fever that are on the cusp of being a contender and could use an extra boost coming off the bench to anchor that second unit, man. With her shooting ability, her size, physicality, and versatility, she would be a very complimentary piece to Caitlin Clark, Coach Sides, and this Indiana Fever team. I know Angel Reese recently reached out and was trying to get her to sign with the Chicago Sky, and, she politely, Williams did decline, but said she wanted to play with Reese in the future, so maybe they could team up in a different destination. But how the Sky did her, it was nasty work, and I understand her not wanting to be a part of it. Now, what exactly happened? Let's start there. Now, this all started because of the WNBA's controversial prioritization clause that went into full effect this past spring, and it requires teams to suspend players if they don't arrive to training camp on time. Now, Williams is a two-time NCAA champion at UConn, and she was a major face in this rule last year and the detriment that it meant to the league. She was basically ousted after playing 5 seasons from 2018 to 2023 because she chose to show up late playing for her club team, like many players do, as well as playing for France on the international stage. Back in 2022, she even said that she was shying away from the W, so it could be bigger than the rule, too. It's also money. She said that she was shying away from the W because teams aren't touching what I'm making in Europe. Now, her base salary the last time she was in the W with Seattle was $144,000, and we know players overseas, the Brittany Griners, the Breanna Stewarts of the world, are making close to $1 million on salary, almost double what they make here in the States. Now, some leagues they've made an adjustment in the WNBA where some leagues have shifted their schedule to make sure that the players in the W can return on time. But the team and the league that Williams plays for in France has not obliged in participating in that. So that's another problem. She plays for Asvel, and that's another issue that has caused her to be out of the league as well. But the thing is, she is a free agent. She is not under contract with any WNBA team right now. So that's what opens up the pathway for her to join a team like the Indiana Fever on a minimum contract, man. She would only make 37% of the veteran minimum. So they could sign her for $76,353. Very affordable for what she could do. Now, I know some other teams that were mentioned were the Connecticut Sun, the Las Vegas Aces, the Sparks, the Lynx, and the Washington Mystics. A lot of these players would have to, or a lot of these teams, I should say, would have to cut a player. But looking at it, man, if she were to join the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark in that group, with her three-point shooting, her defense, I think she proved in the Olympics that she's more of a wing than a forward. She could run that second unit, be a capable playmaker, and be instant offense. We just saw how the Fever came out their last game and put on a dominant performance against the Phoenix Mercury. Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark were locked in like never before. Dantas is getting minutes as well. Aaliyah Boston has been sensational. She really stepped up against BG last night and delivered a very, very physical and borderline dominant performance, man. She came up with some big plays on the glass, got some putbacks, and just continues to show that elite footwork. Now, this team is coming together finally. The break benefited them exceedingly well. We can tell, like, the chemistry looked completely different. They were locked in. Mitchell was not playing selfish basketball. Wheeler was not freezing out Clark. They made it a point to get her the basketball and let her run the show, and she finished with her 10th double-double of the year, chasing that record. And I think Williams, with her experience, her championship pedigree, could come in and provide a veteran voice for this group, because we know the leadership in the locker room has lacked. Now, I think she's the type of player that isn't going to come in with the ego and disrupt the chemistry that they have, and I think she would be a beneficial piece. When you think about the Fever, you got to think every move they make has to be based upon building around the trio of Clark, Boston, and Mitchell. And Williams fits this core really well. She's young enough to grow with this group. And, like I said, provide instant scoring punch. Because the Fever aren't getting much from the bench. Let's be honest, man. I just got to be real. With the Sun, I mean, they already look like a championship team. Marina Mabry looks like she has been with the Connecticut Sun her entire career. She came up big in her debut, and they blew the doors off of Dallas without Dejanay Carrington. Now, they have shown that they're not afraid to make some big moves and pull the trigger to upgrade this roster. Williams off the bench with Celeste Taylor, who also got signed by this group. Man, that would be a big boost for the Sun, and I think it would put them in that same conversation with the likes of the New York Liberty. They have been, it seems like, a piece or two away from the championship for the last several years. You bring in Williams to add to Bonner, Carrington, Mabry, AT. You're adding more length, more defensive versatility, more shooting, which they can't get enough of. Now, speaking of shooting, man, she would be a perfect fit, Williams, with the Chicago Sky. They need a perimeter threat. They need a shooter. They have not, I repeat, have not replaced the production of what Mabry brought to them as a playmaker or a scoring threat from the perimeter. And I think it'll make things harder for Kennedy Carter. It's going to shrink the court for them and allow teams to pack the paint without any risk of anyone really opening it up and floor spacing from the three. Angel Reese, hey, valiant effort, way to shoot your shot, but just seeing how that rule took an effect, how Williams was suspended without pay by the Sky and then traded with no regard. How could she ever go back to a franchise like that? And then with LA, I think Minnesota would be a better fit. They could use a lot more scoring punch off the bench. I mean, you know, they have players that have continued to excel in their role. I love Courtney Williams, Kayla McBride. Like, they have some dogs, of course, Fee, but they could use an extra scoring punch. And, you know, they got that UConn connection with Fee, but if they could get Gabby Williams in Minnesota, man, with her shot-making ability, she's proven she is not afraid of the big moment and gave Team USA all they could handle. She is ready to make an immediate impact in the WNBA. We know that right now. And, the Lynx could really use a scoring punch off the bench, a spark. And, a leader and a winner who's bringing that winning culture to a winning franchise under the longest tenured head coach in the WNBA, and Cheryl Reed. Something to consider, man. Los Angeles, they're young, they're upstart, but does she really want to go straight head first into a rebuild situation? That is the thing. Now, LA will have a good draft pick. They've got Rakia Jackson. They've got Dearica Hamby, arguably the most improved player in the league, in my opinion. But is it enough to entice Gabby Williams? That is the question. I think if she does come to the W, it's going to be to try to win a championship, not to try to be a bridge player to anchor in a new era of Sparks hoops. But we'll see, man. I just wanted to break it down, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what she brings, diving into her game, analyzing a little bit. But y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments about the situation. Holler at me. That is a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Of course, I am your host, Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, we out.